Okay, good evening, everyone. Can't hear? Oops.
Not down.
Up. Can you hear me now? Okay. Good evening, everyone. We're here tonight to swear in our new mayor and 2 city councilmen. And we have a large crowd here. Could Skip and Carolyn and Will come over here? Over there, a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Okay, before we start, I'd like to congratulate you for the win. And there's 2 documents that we're going to read, and you're going to repeat after me. One is the statement of officer. And raise your right hand. Oh. Oh, okay. Are we good? Okay, you just make me nervous standing there. Okay. Okay, repeat after me. I
I, Skip Blackstone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I have not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly paid,
or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay,
offered, promised to pay,
contributed, or promised to contribute
contributed, or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment for the giving or withholding
for the employment of giving or holding
of a vote at which I was elected,
and a vote in which I was elected,
or as a reward
or as a reward,
to secure any appointment or confirmation,
secure any appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be,
whichever the case may be,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, next one is the oath of office. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I
I, Skip Blackstone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
for Skip, it's of mayor
of mayor
or city council of the city of Ivanhoe,
of the city of Ivanhoe,
and will to the best of any ability
and with the best of any ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state, so help me God.
and of this state, so help me God.
That's it. So I gave you the 2 documents that you need to sign. You don't need to do them right now. Okay. Okay, now we're doing the swearing in of our marshals department. Okay.
Ours is short.
Yours is just 1. Okay. So we've got Terry Riley, Robert Crossman, Steve Drum, and Jim Zachary. Okay, raise your right hand, repeat after me. In the name and by the authority
In the name and by the authority
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
I, state your name,
Terry Riley, Robert Cross.
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Marshal,
of Marshal,
Deputy Marshal
Deputy Marshal
of the city of Ivanhoe,
of the city of Ivanhoe,
state of Texas,
state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
And laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state, so help me God.
and of this state, so help me God.
Okay. You are sworn in. Thank you. Okay. Just say you're duly. Okay, you are all duly sworn in.
Thank
All
you,
right.
ma'am. Brad, would you give the invocation? Please stand.
If you'll bow your heads and pray with me. Dear Lord, we are thankful for today. We are thankful for this season of Christmas, the time when your Son came to this earth to provide hope for us and hope for this world, and we give you thanks for that. We ask for your guidance upon this meeting. Bless the council as they seek to do your will and do the will for this city that you'd have them do, Lord. Bless all of our endeavors and give us safe travel mercy home tonight. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's overwhelming. This is a very, very serious time for us. I'm very humbled and honored to be your mayor at this point in time. Turning to the council meeting, are there any issues with the consent agenda? Would anybody like to strike anything off there? Okay, this agenda grew from 2 pages to 32 pages with all of the back offices. Sir? Okay. 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 First off, I'd like to thank Kathy Bennett for all of the time and effort that she's put into this city. She's done a lot of wonderful things. For a little person, she leaves some big shoes to fill. Right now, I want you to understand that I'm up here drinking from a fire hydrant. There is a lot going on, and there's a lot to catch up with. I've been working on this for the past month and trying to ramp up to what we are doing and what's expected of me and City Council moving forward. Today we had another follow-up meeting or an update with our grant administrator, and we talked a great deal about the things that are coming along. Lake Ivanhoe has been, all of the properties that need to be purchased has been identified now. The lake bed, the properties around the old store and the dump station. There's also a property that's on the agenda that we would like to buy off the tax rolls to be able to get access to the lake bed on the other end of the lake. That's up by Mill Creek. It came to light that with the environmental study that the Camelot Dam has been, they found it to be to have wetlands on the downhill side of the dam, and we've got a couple of options to do with that. One is we can go to the wetlands bank and buy comparable properties that would equal the amount of land that's going to be needed for the dam. The price of that would be about $20,000. I remembered the wetland back over here, remember, right behind Charmaine Drive East and Camelot before, there's quite a bit in there that would be more than what the wetlands that we would have to buy, and we can trade that, but we have to buy it from IPOA. So that's really something that I think we can work out through time. The other thing that came to light is the the S-turn on Lakewood, where the tree from the tree to the dam on Tristan. They're wanting to put in 10 5-foot square cement culverts there for about 300 feet. There would be 3 or 4 that would be down low. They're going to take out all of the pipes that drain the lake to keep it at a constant level. But they'll be putting in 3 or 4 of those conduits that will take the place of those pipes so that the normal overflow will go through there. Then they're going to have 6 to 8 more culverts above that at a higher level, about 5 feet up, to get to the same level as the dam, so the road will be the same level all the way through. There was some discussion about moving the boat ramp over to the other side of the park next to the Bears, but I have asked the engineers to look into putting a road on top of the low water culverts that would give us access to the parking lot there where it's at on Tristan, and keep the boat ramp where it's at. So we'll work through that over time. I'm waiting for this is all came to pass today, so LJA is working on drawings to present to us, and then we'll be able to move forward and present to the IPOA board those properties that we need to move with first. Lake Ivanhoe is going to be the cleanest one, the quickest one. It's up front. It'll be the first one that'll be worked on. Somebody's horn. Get out of the way. So, moving through the agenda, as we come to them, some of them I'm going to postpone until next month, simply because there's so much to go over tonight. There's so many people here and the like. So if we go to first, does anybody have any issues with the consent agenda for tonight? No? No. Okay. Will? Councilman Warren?
Mayor Blackstone, I'd like to make a nomination to fill your open seat for council. I have gave to the council Justin Gregory's resume. Justin Gregory has lived in the Ivanhoe since 2008, and he has extensive business background. He is owner and president of Mad Clops LLC, EMF Developers LLC, owner of Alpha Enterprises, vice president of sales at Empire Supplies. He has communication skills. He brings business experience, communication, team building. I think he'd be a valuable asset to fill your position for the remainder of your term. So I'd like to make a motion to nominate Justin Gregory to fill your open position, sir.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
I'd like to make a motion also.
Okay, sir.
I'd like to nominate Johnny Craven to fill the open position. He served on the council. He is our current liaison to P&Z. He's a person that works with Jackie in the code enforcement, with our marshals and with the mayor, previous mayor, and with CD. He's retired, so he has time to come up here and sign checks, do whatever else needs to be done. And he's got a lot of experience. I'd like to see him as a new councilman.
Mayor Blackstone, we have a motion before the table, so I move the previous motion.
Say again, I'm sorry.
I move the previous motion. We already have one motion to vote on. We have to decide that motion before we make a second motion per Robert's Rules of Orders.
That's fine.
Okay. Discussion? Bless you.
Does Mr. Gregory have any direct experience in civic council type organizations or this type of environment directly?
Not as of yet, no. He'd be a new council member.
Okay.
Same as all of us were at one time.
Certainly. That's all my questions.
Any opposed?
Did we ask for a yay or a nay?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
So we had Justin Gregory into my vacated seat. Can he be sworn in, Judge? Is it, huh? Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, Judge. We'll need another chair. We need another chair.
Just didn't seem right. I knew that was gonna be just something anyway. Mum didn't say. Yeah, I know. Who's gonna work the publication? Who's gonna be the P and Z person? Carol, so you need to Carol works full time.
That's just underneath that. Hello? Okay. All right. Justin, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I
I, Justin Gregory,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay,
offered, promised to pay,
contributed, or promised to contribute
contributed, or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment for the giving
or employment for the giving
or withholding of a vote
or withholding of a vote
at which I was elected,
at which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure my appointment
or as a reward to secure my appointment
or confirmation,
or confirmation,
whichever the case may be,
whichever the case may be,
so help me God.
so help me God.
You don't appear to have enough chairs, so you can get one.
Okay, let's try. Okay, this is the oath of office. In the name,
In the name of,
in the name and by the authority
in the name and by the authority
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
I
I, Justin Gregory,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council
of City Council
of the City of Ivanhoe,
of the City of Ivanhoe,
and will to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and to defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United
of
States
the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So now that brings us to the appointment of Mayor Pro-tem. Pardon? So we need a nomination between the five of us, five of y'all.
I'd like to nominate Will Warren as Mayor Pro Tem.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So be it.
Thank you.
Next is the bank signatories. Do we have to do that here, or can we, CD?
Mayor, may I, delinquent tax attorney presentation court collection?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes,
So he can go ahead and get back to the.
correct. I wasn't thinking about it. James, please. Oh, I jumped ahead.
They're kind of unusual.
Yeah, there's so much.
I can speak pretty loud though. Marine Corps voice. Oh, thank you. Can everybody hear me, or would you rather me use the microphone? Have to use it, okay. Oh,
No, not this way. Away from the microphone. There.
It's too close.
okay. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing me to be here today. There are 4 agenda items on the agenda today. I didn't know if you wanted me to cover all 4 of those. It's actually 17 through 20.
Yes.
And the first 3 are related to the same, beginning with, would you like me to start with number 17, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So number 17 is deliberate, consider, take action, if any, to approve an order authorizing a collections fee of 30% to the delinquent fees and fines. The city currently has a resolution that is in effect, but this is an updated order to allow a 30% collection fee, which is set by law, to add to to those citations that become delinquent or outstanding.
So that's an add or two on top of the tax.
Yes, Mayor, and that is, it's actually a brilliant piece of legislature in
Yeah.
that it doesn't, it keeps the cost down for those law-abiding citizens or those who pay their fees and fines on time, and it passed the burden away from the citizens onto those who are delinquent or have not paid those fees and fines. So,
That's a very interesting.
yes, sir. So that way the city has pays 0 cost out of pocket once you hire an attorney.
Well, and then on top of that, we get 100% of what we are owed, and you charge the taxpayer the 30% on top of that.
Well, absolutely. The code allows from July of 2003 forward to add the 30%. Those citations before the legislature was adopted, we are not allowed to add that 30%. but our firm will collect at zero cost for the city. So that's just a added value of our representation if we are hired tonight. So
So
there
I
will be.
understand your goal is to have all of Tyler County.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. And we're the largest in the nation. We're also the local law firm. I live in between Huntington, Zavala. We have an office in Lufkin with about 13 employees. I have a area manager that just works this area for the delinquent taxes. We collect the delinquent taxes also for the county and all the jurisdictions. But as in regards to the fees and fines, what we're talking about today, I can talk more about the contract. That's the next item. Or
Okay, go ahead.
But-
Next item.
But the order, this is just an updated order. It really is a procedural matter more so than anything that gives the city the ability to add the 30%. And the order that I provided, does everyone have a copy of that? It just discusses the certain provisions within the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure and also the types of debts that the 30% can be added to. But basically, these are Class C misdemeanors that are traffic citations.
So is that pretty much cover it for you?
Yeah, just for the order, yes, sir. I'll discuss more about the contract after the order is passed. If we
So
go
what do we
once we
need to
go
do
on to
here?
the next.
Probably need to take up the next.
Number 19?
Yeah.
Let's go to 19, go to 19.
Okay. Did you want to pass the order first before we move on, or did you want me to talk about all three of these and just do each?
Yeah, I think probably we could talk about all three.
Okay.
We could
Sure.
pass it as one?
If someone chooses to make that.
Okay, go ahead.
So the next item is a contract with the Linebarger Law Firm. As I was mentioning earlier, we are a local law firm. We also are a nationwide law firm. We bring all those resources to the city. We have a very sophisticated skip tracing technology. I understand that most of the citations are here within, a very small jurisdiction, but we bring a lot of resources to the city. It's definitely an upgrade from the current vendor that you're using. Where we have a much larger staff. In fact, our IT staff and collection staff is probably larger than that whole other firm altogether. But a couple of things that we would like to implement, one being a amnesty period possibly in February. I've been talking with Judge Rader about some of the things that we can do to increase the collections for the city. But we also allow Judge Rader to waive our fee at any time. That is up to her. She has full discretion to do so. That is our response to those who are indigent, who are unable to make payment. I also want to point out that anytime that there is no money that is transferred, then our fee is not collected either. So if the citations are either dismissed, or if there is community service, or if there is, time served, whatever. However, the citation is adjudicated. If no money is transferred, then the cost will always be 0% to the city. It'll never be out of pocket. We also will direct those defendants to make payments directly to the city, which is also a more efficient way of collections. And then we will send an invoice to the city because you'll be collecting our fee as well. And then at the end of each month, once we receive an updated file, the city can review an invoice and then pay us at that point in time. But there's a discrepancy, then we'll be able to fix that. But we have a very large team that will be dedicated. Besides myself, the attorney, I'm more of a program manager. I do not do any litigation. We really locate defendants and bring them to the city to make whatever payment agreements or whatever, however they need to try to finalize those citations. But we bring a lot to the table. We have very large clients: City of Houston, Sam Houston Tollway Authority, Dallas County. We again, we have probably about 2,200 government clients across the United States, and we just bring a wealth of knowledge and technology to the disposal of the city. So we hope that you will hire us tonight. And if there's any questions about our program, I would be more than happy to answer those.
I think you've covered it well. The transactions seem to be real clean. So do we need to terminate the McCreary?
I would terminate them.
So do I have a motion to terminate the McCleary, Vescla, Bragg, and Allen PC to enforce collection of debt?
Mayor, I make a motion to terminate our contract with McCreary, Vespa, and Bragg, and Allen PC at this time.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion's passed. Do I have a motion to take Mr. Guest's company, Linebarger, on as our debt collector?
I'll make that motion to hire Lundberger, Groman, Blair, and Simpson LLP to proceed with debt collection for the city of Ivanhoe.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's passed. Thank you, sir.
I had one other item.
Sir?
I'm sorry.
Number 17.
Oh.
Oh, what is that one?
Deliberate.
Oh, do I have a motion to pass the order to approve authorizing a collection fee in the amount of 30% as provided by Article 103.0031 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. So I guess we are done.
Well, there was one more agenda item in regards to the struck-off property. Did you want me to?
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, sir. We're going around, we're bouncing around so much. There's only 32 pages here.
Yes, sir. And this will be very brief as well. Mayor Bennett had approached our firm. As you know, that I'm your lead attorney for your delinquent tax collection.
Item 20.
We have been your attorneys for many, many years. Just wanted to point that out. But Mayor Bennett had approached us about a piece of property that would be very useful to the city. The property is Lot 39, Block 1 of Lake Ivanhoe, Section 3. We took this property to court. We obtained a judgment, took it to a tax sale, and nobody purchased this property. The property was then struck off to the taxing entities. Currently, the city owns a small percentage in the property already, and all the taxing entities own a percentage according to their percentage of the taxes. So, given your GLO grant, this piece of property is very valuable to the city. It would help gain access to the Lake Ivanhoe.
Yes, just for the benefit of everyone here, this is a lot that's out by Mill Creek at the far end of Lake Ivanhoe that would give them the, not,
It's the one at the end of Saxon Lane.
okay, all right, my mistake. Too much things going around.
Are a lot. Yes, Mayor. The property is valued at about $974. Again, since it's struck off, it's not accruing any tax value, but the process moving forward, if the city does approve the acquisition of this property, then our firm will begin with the other 4 taxing entities to include the hospital district, I believe it's emergency services district, the school district, and see the hospital. There's the county, emergency services, and Woodville ISD. And so we would begin with the county and ask them if they would convey their interest in the property to the city of Ivanhoe. We'll create the deeds. I'll approach the city or the different boards. It'll have to be an official action, and then once we have all the deeds and the the property will be will belong to the city. And we'll ask them to convey that for $1. There has to be some type of consideration or in real estate transactions. So,
Will there be a fee to y'all for this?
no, sir, this is just added value. This is one
Okay.
one of the services we provide on top of our tax collection of representing you.
So there's 4 taxing identities,
Yes, sir.
so we could obtain this property for $4,
Yes, sir.
basically.
Basically.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we can proceed with this property.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Discussion?
Okay, discussion?
If they don't want to give it to us for $1, we will be notified so that they want $75 or something?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, this is not uncommon. I have worked this with other entities and other counties, and typically they understand that this is going to benefit the community and the taxpayers. The other entities are not looking for a payout to this or really looking to support the community. I do not expect there to be any issues, but I will definitely be communicating with city officials, letting them know of our progress. It'll take me a couple of months probably in order to get on each of those agendas, just because those are typically night events, and but we will be working towards being on those agendas. But yes, if there's any challenges or obstacles, or if someone has a discrepancy, then we will. I'll definitely notify you. But I truly expect that it will, especially since given the low value and also the great need of the city, I expect it to move forward.
Well, I do also. I just wanted to know if they didn't, we'd be prepared.
Yes, sir. And I don't want to speak for them, but I know most of those, most of the entities, and I believe that I don't expect there to be any issues.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. And I want to thank our previous Mayor Bennett for being on top of this.
She stayed on top of it, contacted us many times, made sure it was pulled from the sale, and so we do appreciate her as well.
A big vote of thanks goes out to her.
Once the council if they do approve this action, the minutes will suffice. There's no resolution or adoption. It's just basically the minutes will suffice as far as giving us the authority to move forward if the city council does want to acquire the property.
Do you have a motion and a second?
It's ready to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion. Will,
Mayor Pro-tem.
you made the motion?
I made the motion. I
Okay.
think.
We'll second.
Will. Lose track.
Happens fast.
Mayor, can I ask a question in regards to 18? It says here to adopt a resolution. We passed it, but did that adopt the resolution when we did that?
So, I'm sorry, you're talking about number 18?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. So the resolution really is a written statement that just needs to be signed by the mayor. This is part of the,
So it's not a resolution, actually?
no, sir,
Okay.
it really isn't. It just needs to be a signed statement that I added. Yes, sir. This is part of the state's ethics policies that in order for contracts that are going to be contingent, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're good?
We're good.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Drive careful going home. Yeah, we're back to number 3. So item number 3 on the agenda is the bank signatories. Do we need to sign that now, CD?
Do we have any audience participation?
Say again? Okay. Do I have a motion to act on the resolution for the bank signatory cards, resolution number 2023-3R?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Where is it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Mayor's report, I kind of already went through all of that. Mr. Harrison, dam report? Hello, Rusty.
Mayor, City Council, how do you do? Not much going on with the lake, still trying to control the level as best I can with the 5.5 inches we got over the past few days. The valve is almost wide open. It'll take another day or 2 or 3 before the level will get down where I have to start backing it off. But it's got to be dry before it gets worked. Called Mr. Wilson, Jimbo, with Chance Construction this morning. He did not give me an answer, didn't return the call. A week and a half ago, we called him. He said he would give us a date, and it would be soon, definitely. But that was a week and a half ago, and so we're still in limbo. The other part is we got the 5.5 inches of rain. So the spillway's flooded even though the valve's wide open. And it'll take some period of time for that lake level to get back down, assuming we don't get the rain again. So it'll be dry enough to do the caulking work. And from y'all have all heard the weather reports like I have. Sound like Christmas is not going to be fun as far as the weather goes. A bit cold, yes. So that's all we got going on. Everything's full.
Just a question, is there anybody else besides Chance Construction that could do the caulking? I know it's not a big money maker, and you know, they're doing it when they can, but.
Not that we've gone after
Okay.
over the past several years. They accepted the job, did it okay, and so we just
Okay.
kept using them.
Just a question. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Chief Marshal Riley, you're up. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Judge, you're up.
Okay, I gave you a copy of my report, and because this meeting is kind of long, I'm going to just go over a few things. This was my report for October and November. The total fines and court costs collected for those 2 months was $1,334. We kept about $1,000, and we sent to the state $326. Let's see, we processed, for October, November, 25 citations, and, that's compared to 35 at the same period last year. I wanted to speak a little bit about our code enforcement activity that has involved the court. I think I think the process was explained to you, but for the new council members, our code enforcement employee sends out first a notification to people if they're in non-compliance of an ordinance, and gives them some time to come in, get everything in compliance, and after a certain period of time, she sends it to me, and I send out a summons to come to court. And we have had really good luck with that. People have really been responding to that, coming in. We had 13 hearings that were scheduled, in the last 2 months. 7 people showed up, and all of them, we were working with them. They were unaware of ordinances, or they were not in, they weren't aware they were in violation. And so we're giving them time. We're not fining them. We want compliance, not fines. So 6 were no-shows, and they, because it is a court proceeding that they're supposed to come to, I issued failure to appear notices, and if they don't come to those hearings, they could get a warrant. So, which I don't want to do, but anyway, the most common violations were a pool fence, lot maintenance, a lot of them lot maintenance, travel trailers without current registration or sticker, and I know we're having issues on that, abandoned, unsafe buildings, and junk vehicles. A lot of the vehicles have been towed away, and I think we're doing good. It's a slow process, but I think we're making some progress, so,
Judge Rader, if I may,
yes.
what method of first contact is utilized?
Okay, I had forgot that part. Jackie sends out a card, just saying,
Just a card in the.
yeah, a little postcard saying, we found that you may be not complying with an ordinance, please come in and talk to us about it.
Okay,
Gives
my
them,
concern with that is with the way mail service can sometimes be,
Mhm.
there's no way to really ensure that they receive that card,
oh, I know,
so.
yeah, we have that problem.
And is it only in English, or is it in English and Spanish?
That card, I'm not sure, she is not here to talk about her process, and that's her process.
Okay.
But I just kind of wanted you to know what happens before it gets to me.
Right.
I don't want it to get to me. But yeah, so she is not here because she's in clerk's training in Austin, but she can answer all those questions. Mhm. Anything else?
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Good afternoon. Reason I'm jittery in this, and I think my wife's trying to kill me, so I got it on record. So. November reports, we had over 60 calls. 22 of them were through the sheriff's office. I did 20-something calls. Most of mine are going back to the judge on code enforcement. Steve did around 12 calls. Steve, his problem is if y'all don't see him here, he's doing the CPS investigations. Bob, that y'all see around here all the time, he did about 17 calls. Also, our department helped 2 different agencies with a pursuit and other related calls through Warren ISD that the people live out here. Next month, we have to do our racial profiling report, and the new grants just came out, and we're gonna start working on them, but I've got to wait until Jackie gets back, because when Missy was here, it was all in her computer. So all we gotta do is cut and paste and move stuff like that. So next month is gonna be fun trying to do all the state reports. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Marshall? She's not here. Is there someone that wants, okay. Please step up.
I'm going to explain that. I'm glad you asked that question. Councilman Warren was upset and complaining that he doesn't have his book in front of him, as do nobody. None of y'all do. It's been a hectic week. It's trying to do things a little bit more simple, so it's not so complicated. With council's permission and mayor's permission, I would like to do these reports, say quarterly, simply because you can see more progress on these maps. We can get a lot more detail to have a lot more time to get down to the exact penny instead of an approximation. If that doesn't suit y'all, then so no. If it doesn't, we'll certainly continue the way we are. Either way, either way y'all want to do it.
Well, if you're gonna do it quarterly, at least put some pictures in there so we have something to look at.
We can do that. We can do that. The one class that y'all sent me to about the FEMA and all that, that was something that we are going to have to start doing before, during, and after, or if not, and we have to collect from FEMA as far as they're concerned, doesn't exist.
So what you're describing is taking pictures of the damage and then the repair so that we have documented
Right.
evidence of
Right.
the condition of the road that required the repair and the repair that was done accordingly.
Yeah, exactly, all three stages. And it's just simple to do, like they said, it just take a picture of a truck sitting there with, the city logo on it, so. It's doable, so we do need to get more serious, if you will, about doing that. So if something does come up, we will be prepared to do so. I take it that's why y'all sent me to the class. Okay. Does all council members have a copy of this?
Yes, sir.
Did I leave one for you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
1 second. This is a weird time of year for us. It's our off time simply due to the weather, the amount of rain, and we've had our share of it. It really prevents us from doing a lot of the things that we would normally do. But even though it's our downtime, it's also a very busy time because it lets us catch up on culverts, some of the patching, some of the other things that just doesn't take priority over the grading and the hauling and trying to get these roads smoothed out. So we are busy. We are staying busy. The big thing is just hunker down, wait for the rain to quit. Sooner or later it'll be fine and we can get back out there and do what we normally do. You will still see us. We are still making progress. The things that we have slowed down on, we're picking up on the other items, so it kind of levels out the scale, so to speak. The one big thing that I want to talk about, and do it not quickly, but we'll move through it, is the SPM mix that we're getting, the ash mix that we're getting. The numbers still come out the same, but this is, even though it looks confusing, is a little bit more simpler to understand. Across the top, you see where we have acquired the first load when we started keeping records of this, August 17th, all the way down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that we have picked up through November the 11th was the last one. In that, we have picked up 214 tons of raw material and have processed that into 642 tons of this mix. We have dispersed 498 tons of that 642. The other 144 tons left over is on hand at our yard. As soon as the weather will let us go, we can start putting the rest of that out and gather some more. The one thing that I do want to bring your attention to, and council, the the highlighted areas are highlighted. That's the money part of this. When we got the ash, did our mix turn 214 into 642 tons. We did that for a total of $3,108.26. That's fuel, labor, the whole shebang. Had we used the number 2 limestone base, 642 tons of it, the same amount as we made the ash and made our product, that cost would have been $28,252.92. To date, since August 17th, we have a total cost savings of using this mix over the limestone of $25,144.66 whole cents, and we're awful proud of it. And when I say we, I mean we, not I. Another way to look at it, the 498 tons of the mix that we dispersed, the actual $3,000 worth, somewhere in there, excuse me, $2,400 worth, we were able to pave 1.2 miles of road surface with that. So for $2,450, we did a mile, 0.2.
It's awesome.
And it is holding, to our surprise, much better than we knew that it would, but it is beginning to outlast the limestone. Not to say we can stop using that. We still need to use that to get a good solid base. And again, understand this is for the roads that have no asphalt. We cannot use this project, as far as we know yet, or this product, on asphalt road. It's not a come in and do a level up with. But on all the dirt roads, sand roads, those we can take care of. Okay?
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Well, it held up to the rain.
Absolutely, stunningly, beautifully.
Actually,
Looks like it did 2 days after we put it down.
actually, the rain helps it.
It packs it down more.
It's a little dusty when it first goes down, but once it gets wet, it's a nice smooth surface.
With the materials that we get, we call it ash, but there's metal, there's not sharp objects, but there's some slag in there.
Call it shrapnel.
You call it shrapnel if you wanted to. There's a lot of stuff in there, and I think what happens, because we noticed after this last heavy rain, where it would normally cut through, and any other thing that we had put on there before, it did. This did not allow it to cut through. So I've got to think the materials bind together a little better, and as it gets packed down, it really stays together well.
Good.
Absolutely. We have several roads that we have done. Some of them are done, some of them are 1/10 of a mile, 2/10 of a mile. I'll get with you. We'll go take a look at them if you want to. Okay. All of y'all, let's just have a party and go.
Yes, sir.
Who's bringing the beer? Any other questions with? Oh, by the way, we have 7 work orders on the list, so we're staying current with those as well.
It's awesome. Good
Things
job.
are looking good.
Good job.
That it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Consider for discussion the action, the resignation of David Rader from Planning and Zoning Committee. Do I have to ask for a motion for that?
I make a motion, we accept the resignation of David Rader from the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Any discussion?
It's unfortunate that he had resigned due to health reasons. I mean,
Yes.
it would be better if it was other terms. I really think that, I hope he gets better, and that his return then goes out on the boat dock once again. That could be my wish. I hate to see him resign. He gave us a great service.
Just so everybody knows, David is not large in stature, but he is a big man. He was in the 101st Airborne and used to jump out of perfectly good airplanes. The equipment that he carried weighed more than he did. And I have much respect for that man, and I wish him well.
Myself as well.
So, I'll kind of choked me up a little bit. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. I wish him well. Next up is the Johnny Craven with the Planning and Zoning Commission. There's a lot to this. I'd like to push it down the road a little bit, Johnny, if I can, because this meeting's going to go a long time. I would also like to get copies of the suggestions or the proposed ordinances to each of the councilmen so that we can have time to look at them. I just saw them late yesterday, and they're on the agenda to be reviewed and voted on this evening. And I just think that we need a little bit of time to discuss them or to absorb it and be prepared to discuss it. Sure. Postpone it. Yes, sir. Just till next month. I know government moves slow, and I'm slowing it down, and that's just the way it is. Next up is Mr. Harrington. Can you kind of briefly explain what this is all about?
Well, this is follow on from the previous month's discussion around our definitions in our ordinances for livable space, minimum requirements, and as well that relates to item 13 as well. There's no further development on this at this point in time. We're still trying to find a technical expert that we can bring in to advise as to whether or not and how to evaluate these structures in reference to our ordinances.
Very good, very good. Outstanding. So there's no action required on that to this evening. Consider for discussion the action approval of the engineer for the bond construction work for fiscal year 2023. Recommendation review committee, Tommy?
Yes, the committee met this week. Myself, Kevin Fairclough, John Craven, and CD. CD didn't vote. He's just making sure we do things right. There was only one engineering firm that applied or gave us a proposal, and that was LJA. Consequently, when we reviewed it, we passed them, selected them. So LJA for both bond and for the community development block grant if we get it in 23-24. I make a motion that we accept LJA as our construction company, engineering firm for the bond and community development block grant. We get a grant.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passed. LJA continues to be our engineering firm. Consider for discussion action approval of the engineer for the TC DBG grant. You just did both of them. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for keeping me straight. Thank you kindly. Financial report, CD.
Thank you, Mayor, and council members, and welcome Ms. Williams, Councilman Williams now, and returning Councilman Warren, and Skip as our new mayor. Thank you. Okay, this is another of the reports that I'm not going to ask for approval of tonight, simply because as the mayor had made note, some of these things have been coming in kind of just right down to the wire here, and this is one of those. As a matter of fact, as you go through that printout copy that I made, it came in right about noon today. Well, I've had all these other things going on, so I haven't had a chance to review it very well. We'll go over the highlights for the month so that you kind of have a grasp of where we stand, but we'll look at doing the actual approval next month, mainly because we don't have reconciliations from our accountant on the text class interest and sinking fund, the reserve fund that we have set aside to carry us through that period of time during the year when we might be getting low on our general fund balance. Also, the hazard mitigation grant, we don't have the reconciliation from the accountant on that or on the supplemental grant. Those are the two big grants. Now, we had flow-through in the supplemental grant, but not under the MIT grant. But still, I don't have the reconciliation, so I can't recommend to the council accepting something that we don't have. Also, the coronavirus recovery, we don't have that reconciliation. So I'm going to have to get with Kyle at Davis Heineman to, well, I know that he worked last night until at least 10:57 because that's when the QuickBooks report shows that he closed out the reconciliations that he did send to us. Okay, that being said, looking at where things are financially, on our sales tax, thanks to you and others for your support of our local businesses. For the month of December, just got this in, $6,383 came in from the state comptroller for the purchases that we made three months ago that was reported last month, and now it's showing up for
So that
us.
runs 3 months behind.
That's how
Okay.
it works. Yes,
Okay.
sir. So far, year to date, we have $20,183 from our sales and use taxes. The next item in the report is a payroll budget, and Councilman Warren had requested this so that council has a better idea of where things are reflected as far as the individuals on payroll. If you will see the numbers that are written in out there at the very far right, that is a percentage of the budget that is remaining.
Ah, okay.
That's not the percent of the budget that's been used. That's the amount, percentage-wise, of what's remaining for that particular employee. So kind of gives you an idea. I guess the best way of saying this would be that when we make our payroll at the end of this month, it's actually going to be the 29th, I believe, our payroll should show somewhere around 75% balance because we're reaching that quarterly payroll, which would be October, November, and December. And that will kind of give you a closer perspective. We've got that one payroll period left, and it'll be updated. I can send that out to you by email to show you where things stand. And then this report will be presented on a monthly basis as well.
CD?
Yes, sir.
I think this is important for council to see so that we can monitor our payroll hours to our budget for all departments. So at the end of the year, we don't come up with people who don't have hours or we don't have funds for them to pay them to run the rest of the year. So it's a fine balancing act that we have, and it's a tool that we can use to kind of see where we are, kind of guide and direct us. So I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, the next sheet there is basically the report that comes from the Tyler County Tax Office, and it gives us the amount, pardon me, if you'll look over towards the far right, under the column that says calculated balance, you will see, going back to when the city was actually formed, the amounts of delinquent taxes that are due for each of those years. Now, our outside accountants look at this because they consider this as income that's not been provided to the city yet. And so it's a carrying balance. But you will see each year how much is still owed under delinquent taxes for that. And the reason it's referred to as calculated balance is because each month that will change because interest and penalties are added to those delinquent taxes. So that's why it will change from one month to the next. If there's a payment made, then it'll reduce that amount of the calculated balance. If a payment is not made, then the interest and penalties will accrue, and so it'll add up more on there. Just as you look at down close to the bottom of that column, on the calculated balance, $651,729.78. That is taking into account what has actually been collected, and you'll see my notes at the bottom of the page there that we had the deposit on the 13th from the Tyler County Treasurer of $45,774.72. That is split out between our maintenance and operations, pardon me, which totaled $36,973.26. So that, in effect, pretty much carries us for a month's worth of activities, an average month. If we have something that has an additional expense, then it would throw that out a little bit. But $36,000 will cover us for a little over a month, operations-wise. Interest and sinking, that $8,801.46 went towards paying our bond debt. We make that payment on interest in April, and then we pay the principal and the interest at the end of the year, sometime there in August. The next few pages are those reconciliation reports that I was referring to, that we're short on some of them. Then there's also the balance sheet and the profit and loss, which is just signifying the expenses and income that was generated during the month of November. The budgets and actuals, as I had pointed out before, because of the way QuickBooks Online works, that very first line shows grant revenue, which is not a part of our general fund operations. So it skews that budget versus actuals. But what you can do, pardon me, is go down the individual line items and see where things stand in regards to the budget and what has been expensed year to date, as well as the next one, which is just for the month of November. So that's kind of recapping things in a nutshell. Pardon me. I will not ask the council to approve a financial report for December because it's incomplete. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you, CD.
All right. Thank you, council and mayor.
With everything that's going on, I'll forego the executive session tonight. Communications from the audience. Ms. Morris?
I want to say, I want to thank you all.
Yeah, I heard you just fine.
I'm Patsy Morris. I live at 520 Charmaine Drive South. I just wanted to thank you all for running and accepting this position, getting involved. in your community, and I want to thank those people who have served. And I think that it's so great now because it seems to me that it's a lot easier to complain than it is to do something. And I read something somewhere that said, you know, when you lead, you bleed. That's a bad thought, but you know, it's the truth about half the time you're doing the best you can, and half the people that don't like it, or a little less than half anyway. So I just want to thank you all, congratulate you. You are appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That means a lot coming from you. A motion that we adjourn? No, comments. Sorry, council comments?
I have one comment, Carolyn, Justin, thank y'all for becoming members of the city council, and we look forward to working together.
Thank you.
Also, Mayor Blackstone. I've worked with you enough, I already know you're a hard worker. So.
Well, that means a lot coming from you. Now do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're already done. Sir?
Tomorrow at 6.
Oh, that's right. Tomorrow it's a public announcement. The public announcement tomorrow at 6 at Chuck Marshall Park. There will be toy giveaways for children, right? Toy drive.
Children in Tyler County, and it's a movie with the Grinch. There's a rumor that the Grinch may show himself, and we have goodie bags for all the children.
Okay, so the Grinch Who Stole Christmas movie will be shown there tomorrow, and the Grinch may show up. There'll be all kinds of goodies and toys to be handed out to them. Is that? And crafts. Gosh. 6 o'clock. Be there, be square. Thank you all very much for coming this evening. It means a great deal. Okay, everybody, there's food and refreshments at the back of the room. There's fried chicken. There's cake up here. What? What? Hello, everybody. May I have your attention? One more thing.